Hello and welcome once again to the weekly podcast, The Kate and Eric Show here, brought to you by Faith, Freedom, Family, and Friends. So, welcome to episode 16, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you have had a great week. This has been a great week. It's been hotter than Hades here in Texas. Here we're in triple digits for, seems like forever. You know, it's all that global warming going on here. You know, that's what's going on here in Texas. Meanwhile, some of the other parts of the country are experiencing lower temperatures than normal. But hey, it's Texas. It's hot. It's great. I love it. But welcome everybody. Welcome to the new listeners. We got some new places, new cities that have come and listened to the podcast. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. This audience is now in 3 different countries. You have the United States. You've got, let's see, let me pull this up here really quick. We've got... of course, the United States, we've got Malaysia, and now we are in Canada. So I really appreciate it. It's really exciting. Some new cities that I have noticed that have come up are, let me just pull this up. Euless, Texas. I don't know if I've mentioned you guys before. El Monte, California. Toronto, Ontario. So there's the Canadian. We've got Orlando, Florida, so thank you very much, everybody. Eagle Mountain, Utah, I don't know if I mentioned that one before. And then Cibola, Texas. So thank you, everybody who listens to the podcast. Really, really appreciate it. If I did not mention your city, or you would like more cities mentioned, then share with your friends, please. Share with your friends. I am on anywhere that you listen to your podcasts, or anywhere you can listen to podcasts. I am on every platform. So thank you very much. So please share, rate the show. We only accept 5 stars here at the Kate and Eric Show, so that would be appreciated. So then more people will see it, and it will be available to more people there. So thank you very much. Again, I am on Facebook at the Kate and Eric Show Facebook page, and I do my best to keep up with posting things on there. I'm also on, well, I guess it's technically X now. It's not Twitter anymore, because the app actually did update itself, and it is called X. So Twitter/X. Kate and Eric Show, and True Social Kate and Eric Show. So thank you, everybody. That's where we can you can listen to other things, some other contact. Also, I almost forgot the great Common Sense Theater on TikTok. So, and there's also some other fun videos that I post on TikTok. Some great responses. In fact, I had a nice little short little conversation with somebody on one of their live. They kind of, I don't know why they popped up on mine, but they popped up, or he popped up, you know, and I just kind of came into a partial conversation, something to do with paying child support, and he pretends to be a girl, right? So let's kind of put that on there. So he's got these long, like bluish or reddish pink hair kind of thing going on. And so then he's talking about, paying child support, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, good luck to those children. But it turns out it's not really children he was talking about. He was talking about what he said in his words were his little swimmers that he's got frozen somewhere. And then his little pronouns are she, her. So right there I was like, dude, come on. The only people that have so-called little swimmers are men. And then he proceeded to say, oh, well, you don't have very many followers on your TikTok. Yeah, I've only launched this thing, a few weeks ago. So what do you expect? Anyway, then I had to go to work and I had to do other better things with my life. But it's just kind of funny. So he just proved right there that he is not a woman and, in fact, a man. So anyway, thank you very much. And of course, like I always do, start up with some sports here today. There was the big MLB trade deadline this past week. Some big names coming in. We picked up the Astros, Houston Astros, world champion twice. We picked up Kendall Graveman. I forget where we got. Maybe the White Sox or something like that. We had him before. But the big news, the Texas Rangers, they picked up Max Scherzer from the Mets, and we also got somebody back from the Mets who went on just a nice little vacation there in New York, and I posted this nice little video on TikTok here, and Justin Verlander, yes, Justin Verlander, two-time Cy Young Award, two-time World Series champion. I believe he's got some MVPs and all kinds of other lovely things with Detroit when he was there. But with us, he picked up two Cy Youngs, two World Series champions. Yes, 2017 does count as a World Series championship, so you can put that put that in your pipe and smoke it. But I did play this little video for when he came back. So yes, Justin Verlander is back with the Houston Astros after a nice little vacation in New York. The Mets, who have since sort of imploded. So, good luck. I bet their fans hate them right now. Same with the Yankees. They absolutely I wouldn't want to be a New York anything fan at this point. We also had one of our aces. He threw his first no-hitter, which was great. I saw some statistics on that, and the Astros actually have thrown more no-hitters than any team in baseball. So, props to us. So, you're welcome for being the best team in the last 6-7 years. You're welcome for this greatness. Also on some sports news, for those that you might not know, I have mentioned this before, but my full-time job is that I do home health, and I am in the home hoping to take care of those that are in need. And so we watch ESPN, and on one of them, which was kind of interesting, is that some WNBA players have decided to during the off season start playing like a 3-on-3 and a 1-on-1. And so I went down the rabbit hole. I don't watch the WNBA. I don't think anybody watches the WNBA, really. It's not for any other reason that people just aren't interested, unfortunately. And they've kind of suffered for that, just not being popular. I guess it's been around since the late 90s. So it's been around for a while, and they just cannot get people to come in and watch their games, unfortunately. There's a clip that I want to tell about. Shaq has got some interesting ideas. But so I compared, did a little compare and contrast between the NBA and the WNBA. Just last year, so last season for the WNBA, their average attendance, and it goes by team. Apparently, I don't even know if Dallas has a team. Oh, we do. Dallas Wings. It's a cute name. Their attendance was about 3,800, a little less. The most was Seattle Storm with about 10,500 average. So, interesting. So I hope that goes well for them. So that was kind of last year's averages. There's also the viewers for the WNBA is not that great, apparently, since nobody watches it. Nobody knows any of the players. I don't know any players. I know some of the NBA players, even though I don't really watch it. And I think the only reason anybody knows about Brittany Griner is because she was in a Russian prison for a while. So 2022, they had an average of 372,000 viewers for 25 games. So I guess that's 19% higher than before, and the highest since 2008. So, well, good job for them. So just interesting that they're trying to do this so that these WNBA players, say that 5 times fast, can pick up a little bit of extra money. So hopefully that does well. But I think Shaq had an interesting perspective on what would make the WNBA a little bit better, a little bit more exciting, and get more viewers. So I just want to play what he had to say. So just a second.
I have a solution for the WNBA. I don't know if you know, in males beach volleyball and women's beach volleyball, the net is lowered just a little bit.
It's what?
It's lowered. The net is lowered. So the only thing missing from the WNBA to the NBA game is the dunk. So imagine, I'm not saying lower to 9 feet or 8
Just so they can dunk.
So they can dunk.
Just more of a show. There's a few that dunk.
Just a little bit. So I think if they did that, it'd make the game more exciting. Because look, they got the handles, they got the shooters, they got the showmanship. They just don't have the dunk. And so just imagine that. So if you lower the rim just a little bit.
I think he's got a good point there. You know, lower the rim just a little bit. You could have these women start dunking and things because they come. I guess it's a 10-foot hoop, just like the NBA, and there's no dunking at all. I think there's like few. I have no idea how many there are total, but it's not a lot. So just maybe that's an idea they can try with this new league. Hopefully, because it'd be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun to see that. In other sports news, we have the Women's World Cup going on right now, and we have an absolute disgraceful team that represents us. These women of the Women's Soccer League are absolutely atrocious. They cannot put their hands over their hearts for the national anthem. They just absolutely are hate this country, and I just think I made a TikTok on this actually, so you can go check that out, the Kate and Eric Show on TikTok. But I made one, and I was like, if you don't like it here, why are you living here? Why do you represent the country that you hate just so you can make your millions of dollars with your name? Not who your whole goal is to sit there and represent yourself. You don't represent the United States. You do not represent us. You represent yourself. And it's absolutely just disgraceful. So I looked up, went down another rabbit hole, because I actually did watch part of the World Cup this last year. And the numbers between there's a massive difference between the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup. I guess there have been 22 Men's World Cups since 1930. The Women's World Cup started in 1991, so there's only been a few of their games. But there's an article here that I looked up. Let me pull this up here. There's so many articles I looked up about this. So let me find it. So one of the things that this women's team that is absolutely despicable is that they whined about the prize money. There's a big difference between the prize money of the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup. So last year, the FIFA Men World Cup in Qatar, prize money amounted to a whopping $440 million. All qualifying teams received $1.5 million ahead of competition. The champions, Argentina, won $42 million. The runner-up, France, won $30 million. And all contenders who placed in the top 32 went home with at least $9 million. So I don't know. I don't remember what the U.S. did, but the women's team actually, they then went on to sue the National Soccer Federation here because they wanted to get paid for not producing a good product. So that makes a lot of sense. So what they did is there was a gender discrimination lawsuit filed by stars Carly Lloyd, Hope Solo, Alex Morgan, the lovely Megan Rapinoe, or whatever the heck you say her stupid name, and Becky Sabrum. alleging they were paid thousands of dollars less than their men counterparts better playing despite better playing performance. I really severely doubt that, because there's other things I'm going to talk about that prove that they don't play a better, they don't have a better playing performance. As a result, the U.S. Soccer Federation reached a historic equal pay agreement. So the women got paid for what the men did in the World Cup. So that's awesome, for sitting on their couch and doing nothing. So the teams will be paid equally until at least 2028, but the women's team will be paid $22 million in back pay. Come on. So this year's Women's World Cup is announced a total of $152 million, so just a little bit less. Will be awarded the prize money of the tournament, and so it's just apparently that's a bit more. Well, it's a lot more than 2019 was $30 million. So yeah, it's a lot less. But they don't have people. I mean, they have people begging to watch their games. They give out tickets. They have these people begging people to watch their games, and nobody's wanting to watch it because it's not as exciting. Sorry, your games are just not exciting to watch. That's just how it is. So other interesting things here is the Men's World Cup. The final match of the 2022 Men's World Cup had more than 1.5 billion viewers worldwide. And I was one of them. I was sitting there in church. Unfortunately, yes, I am confessing here that I did watch the World Cup while I was sitting there in Sunday school at church. I turned it on because I was curious, because I got all into it. So FIFA estimates that around 5 billion people engaged with the tournament as a whole. Holy crap, 5 billion people watched this thing. Meanwhile, the final match of the most recent World Cup garnered $260 million viewers worldwide. Just a little bit less. The tournament as a whole had 1.12 billion worldwide. So it's just simple economics. People aren't watching your game. People aren't watching it. Sorry. That doesn't mean that you should get paid the same amount for having a lesser product. And there was a little bit. Oh, let me share this thing that before I forget, that Megyn Kelly. Oh, she does not like these women at all, not even a little bit. So let me have you hear what she had to say about these lovely women.
Rapinoe and Sue Bird, from what I can tell, have a lot of medals and a lot of money. And you know what they don't have? Daughters. So they can take a seat. Because those of us who do and need to worry about their...
Okay, hold on. A little backstory. I forgot about that. Is that she's talking about, because they're okay with these trans men, these guys that think they're women playing in women's sports. So she's a little angry about that.
Safety and their fair play, object to your desire to push men into women's sports. And I don't give a damn, and most people don't, what you call me or others who feel as I do. I will fight you. I will fight you tooth and nail as you try to endanger my child and take away her fair shot at a medal, at winning, at the wonderful feeling of crossing the finish line first, or winning in a fair game.
So she's a little mad. I don't blame her. I do not blame her. I don't, this is the only U.S. team that I actively would be happy if they would lose. And they pretty much did. They tied Portugal 0-0. They tied whoever else they played first, and they barely beat Vietnam like 3-0 or something. So they're all celebrating. Yeah, we're moving on to the next round. Nobody cares. So I think that's the sports coverage. It's a little long on the sports topic today. Also, so on another note, New York City, they're having a cow up there in New York City because they've had less than 100,000 of these so-called asylum seekers, also known as illegals, come into their wonderful, lovely city up there. Thanks to Greg Abbott, who is shipping the illegals that come across our border up there to lovely New York City, and they pretty much had it. This is what their mayor had to say.
Stated several months ago that we have reached full capacity. And that full capacity was verbalized, and now New York is just going to be visually actualized. We're going to see how much our cup has basically runneth over. We have no more room in the city, and we need help.
Oh, but wait, I thought you were a sanctuary city there. I thought you were a sanctuary city, so what are you talking about there?
We stated several...
But yeah.
Discipline.
Just amazing. Oh, and then so he's asking for all kinds of federal aid because they're all overwhelmed by, less than 100,000 people, and they're just sleeping all over the place in the streets and just everywhere. So this is his idea of what he wants to do to help sort of stem the tide there a little bit.
We're executing on it. It is my vision to take the next step to this, to go to the faith-based locales, and then move to private residents.
Oh, okay.
There are residents who are suffering right now because of economic challenges. They have spare rooms, they have locales, and if we can find a way to get over the 30-day rule and other rules that government has in its place, we can take that $4.2 billion, 4.3 it may be now, that we potentially have to spend, and we can put it back in the pockets of everyday New Yorkers, everyday houses of worship, instead of putting it in the pockets of corporations. And some of those corporations come from outside our city. We should...
Oh, okay. So he wants the churches to step up and start housing some of these people, and then he wants private residents. Private, if you have an extra room, hey, just pile in a whole bunch of illegals. That's his idea. I mean, just how about you secure the border there, Mr. Eric Adams? That would be a good idea, and I think he does eventually say that, but because he's just completely overwhelmed, right? Come down here to Texas, come down here to Arizona, New Mexico, California, and then talk about how being overwhelmed you are. Give me a break. And then also, so you've got that. So they can barely handle 100,000 people. Meanwhile, millions and millions have poured across our border thanks to the lovely Joe Biden. And so then once again, Trump has been indicted once again on a whole bunch of crap, making the total 78 charges that he's being charged. This time, it's about the January 6th nonsense. So, it's also very convenient that any time that something of the Bidens, the corruption that they are in, with Hunter or with Joe, that it's just all of a sudden that there's some crap on Trump that they're going to make up here. So let's see. So I found a timeline. So April 23rd, April 2023, House hears testimony on Joe Biden's mishandling of classified documents. At the same time, activist prosecutor Alvin Bragg indicts Trump in New York for these things. June of this year, FBI releases documents alleging Biden's received $10 million in bribe from Burisma, the Ukraine company. Same month, activist prosecutor Jack Smith indicts Donald Trump in Florida for the stupid documents. Him being the actual president of the United States and Joe Biden wasn't, and he had, similar documents, which he shouldn't have had in the first place. Then of this, July. Oh, this isn't July anymore. This is August, isn't it? I just realized that. But the last month, Hunter Biden rejects plea deal after DOJ blanket immunity offer revealed. So lovely. Luckily, the judge that oversaw this Hunter Biden disaster said, no, we're not going to do this, and you can come back. So he's pled not guilty. So the same month, there's a pattern here if you can't tell. The same prosecutor, Jack Smith, adds more charges for Trump in Florida now. So now we have this week, July 31st through August 1st. House hears testimony that Joe Biden lied about his business calls with Hunter. So guess what happens? Activist prosecutor Jack Smith indicts Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. And that is what happened today. Trump made his way up there to Washington, D.C., and unfortunately, he has an Obama-appointed judge, so hopefully that goes well for, just the absolute horrendousness of this. So if you're a Biden and you're a Democrat, then yeah, you're just fine. It's all smoke and mirrors here, because none of this stuff, hopefully will stick. It's just absolutely horrendous. So next year, what will happen next year and the end of this year is that the first GOP debate will happen the 23rd of this month. Like I said, he went to D.C. He flew in on, what is he called? Trump Force One or something like that came into Reagan. So October 2nd, is the original lawsuit or civil suit. This is what's going to happen. So then January 15th is the Iowa caucuses. And then he will have the E. Jean Carroll civil defamation lawsuit still going on. Then at the end of January of next year, the Pyramid Scheme class action lawsuit will happen with him. And then Super Tuesday is March 5th. I would suggest if your state allows you to vote in both primaries, like the great Rush Limbaugh said, man, we need him. It would be great to listen to him. There's a clip I'm going to play later of what he had to say. But something that I forgot that he did when I was looking all this up is that he did Operation Chaos. I think back when Obama was running. I forget which time it was. Maybe it was the second time, but he called it Operation Chaos. So if you want to mess them up, go to these other primaries and vote Democrat. Vote against Biden to get him out. We need him out. I mean, RFK Jr. is amazing. He's still kind of out there. We don't agree on 100% of the thing, everything, but he's actually willing to sit down and talk, and he would be 100 times, 1,000 times better than this demented doofus in there that's right now. So that's Super Tuesday. Then March 25th of next year, the New York criminal hush money trial will happen. So Donald Trump's going to have a busy year next year. So then there's the classified documents, May 20th, July 15th of next year, Republican National Convention, and then we have Election Day in November 5th. So it's going to be very interesting. Hopefully hopefully there's none of this crap sticks, because it's just a witch hunt. It's all smoke and mirrors to distract us, just like the stupid alien thing is going on right now that the U.S. government came out and said, yeah, there's aliens. It's all just to distract the people, to keep them pissed off at Donald Trump instead of what's really going on, which I had noticed that driving around here in the DFW area is that gas is going back up, and we're about $3.60, I think, is what we're about at now. So that's great. We've got all that going on. So, it's just the hypocrisy, the lies. It's just horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. So the thing today with him was the stupid January 6th nonsense, which there is evidence that federal officers were there, basically pouring gas onto the fire and raging these people, bringing them in. You see the DC cops out there just parading people around, and the judge that is in charge of Trump, she's the one, in DC, she was over a bunch of the trials for the people that were there, and she basically laid the hammer down on these poor people. But I just want to go back and have you listen to what because they're saying he didn't say anything. But I just want to go back to that town hall meeting where he roasted CNN and listen to what he actually did say and not what they're telling us that he said.
And they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers. Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. So if you look at on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30.
Love his confidence.
I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth, and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
So, yeah, what they're alleging that he didn't say anything, but in fact he did. There were many things that he said that, not to riot, not to be peaceful, over and over, 30 minutes, an hour later, that, he kept saying stuff. But let me play this last thing before I go here. Is I want to play this great thing that Rush Limbaugh had to say, because they're not just coming for him, they're coming for us. They're coming for you. They're coming for me. They don't like the freedoms we have. They want to rule us with an iron fist, I would think. And I would say that. And I just did. But they want to rule. They think that they're above everyone. And so I want to play what he had to say. So just hang on a second. Get this pulled up here.
Trump cannot run again. I know they desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump.
So he's right. They're coming, like Trump said before, is that they're coming for us, ladies and gentlemen. They want to take away our freedoms. They want to take our right to free speech. They want to take our right of religion. They want to I would say they want to pretty much eradicate a religion. They want to take our weapons away. They hate the fact that we are free and they are not in charge. So just keep going. Keep letting the truth be known, and spreading it out. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll do it again next week. Like I said, so you can go, like I said before, is that I am on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, so the Kate and Eric Show, and then also on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it now. I guess technically X, but truth, or on Twitter/X. The Kate and Eric Show, True Social, Kate and Eric Show, and then come check out my TikToks. They're fun. I have a lot of fun doing them. The Kate and Eric Show on TikTok as well. So hopefully you have a great week. Hopefully you're not too hot like it is here in Texas. But I will talk with you next week. Have a good one. Bye.